On February 23rd, I started making videos about the current situations, and at that time it was a pending invasion by Russia against Ukraine. And then on the 24th of February, they invaded Ukraine, and then the United States got involved. And Russia said if the United States helps Ukraine, there'll be a price to pay, and they know how to handle the United States. And I made a film about, in one of my videos, that this paralleled a situation which happened right before World War II with Japan, how the United States blockaded Japan, and all of a sudden there was a sneak attack. And out of this whole situation, the atomic bomb and a new weapon and so forth. And when I start getting parallels, it becomes scary to me because, like in 2017, I said that Trump was a revolutionary, and then January 6th came about, where there was I guess, a revolt against the Capitol building and whatever. If I say that somebody has the numbers of a thief, eventually it comes out that they steal something. So, in any event, it's parallel to Japan, where all of a sudden they attacked Pearl Harbor, and then the atomic bomb was thrown on them. So I wonder, I use possibility thinking, if there'll be a new weapon involved in this situation, or a sneak attack, or is things just as status quo? I saw a video on TikTok where a Russian soldier said that he was sent to fight in Ukraine and he didn't want to die, and his country sent him there and he was afraid. And this happens very often. I remember Muhammad Ali was a conscientious objector, said he didn't want to go to Vietnam because the Vietnam people never did anything to him, and they never called him names or a nigger. And he gave up his boxing career for a while, and people would call him a coward, but he got in the ring with George Foreman, who was basically a monster. So I don't think a coward was what he was. And Bruce Springsteen, in his song "Born in the U.S.A," said that they sent his brother off to a foreign land to fight the yellow man, and so forth. And there's a lot of psychological things involved here. The country now is in a state of a lot of concern, the United States, over inflation and gas prices approaching $5, and shortages of baby formula, and food prices being sky high. And you picture a family with like two cars in the driveway, and they have to put gas in these cars, and they probably have a couple of kids, and they have to feed the children and make a living. And even if they seem to be making good money, the money isn't worth anything. It's kind of like a wheelbarrow full of money buys a loaf of bread type of thing. And since the end of 2019, going into 2020, all of a sudden the pandemic started, and we lived in a world of fear and catching the COVID. And the world changed. People were social distancing, and they were wearing masks, and the food industry, restaurants got affected, and people were running scared, and people were working from home rather than remote working, and the schools, they were remote teaching, and the restaurant business, a lot of them closed up, and things became very difficult and a scary world. And then from the end of 2020 through 2021, the cycle that it's overcoming problems, and then all of a sudden with all the shortages and all the problems. In February of 2022, the Ukraine invasion happened, and all that's happening with it, and possibility thinking, I wonder if it'll be like Japan, where there was a new weapon or a sneak attack, or we're waiting for the, so to speak, for the axe to drop. We know everything is tight and scary and tenuous, and everybody's waiting for the axe to fall. So this is the way it is. The United States is in the eight-pointed star of Venus, or the star of the Magi, and from the end of 2022 through 2023, we go in the dark side of the moon cycle, where it's a Mars cycle, and it becomes very scary at that point. And we hope that there's not a war. We hope we can at least get through November of 2022 unscathed in some way. And the situation is building up. It's not the end of the road for all of this. There's shortages of baby formula, there's high gas prices, there are high food prices, still the fear of COVID varieties and variances. And we're going to wait and see. I describe these things. If you go back to some of my videos, and even in 2017, I predicted that Trump would be a one-term president, and in 2019, I said there'd be a black female on the Democratic ticket. So, well, we'll see what happens. Lots of luck to everyone.